Aesop was a Greek fabulist and storyteller. He was a slave who lived in the 6th century BC in ancient Greece. He has written a number of fables which is collectively known as Aesop's fables. Many of these fables and tales are characterized by animals and inanimate objects that have the ability to speak, solve problems, and they generally have the characteristics of a human. Today, we will be learning about a poem, The Ant and the Cricket, adapted from Aesop's Fables. The Ant and the Cricket is a fable in poetic form. A fable is a story, often with animals as characters, that conveys a moral. This is a poem about a silly young cricket and an ant. We shall now read the first stanza and understand the meaning of it. So here we go.
A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that, at home, his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. "Oh, what will become," says the cricket, "of me?"
In this particular stanza of the poem, we are introduced to a silly cricket who loved to sing and dance away all his time. During the summer days, the cricket just wasted his time singing and dancing, and later realized what a big mistake he made. Eventually, when winter came, he found his food cupboard quite empty. He had nothing left to eat. Because it was winter, he couldn't find any food in the snow-covered ground. The trees bore no leaves or flowers, as they lay dead and dried beneath layers of snow. The cricket was sad and really scared. He wondered how he would survive the harsh winter. We shall now proceed to the second stanza and see what it means.
At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he'd repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow.
This stanza reflects the gloomy and miserable condition of the cricket. He is overpowered by starvation, and the lack of food has taken a toll on him. He is dripping wet due to the rains and wobbling through the cold winter. This feeling of absolute helplessness and misery can be a reference to man. When one is at that low point in life where you feel like you have nothing more left to lose, this feeling which fuels his next decision to turn to his last desperate attempt to stay alive. He decides to visit the miserly ant. Ants are the most hard-working creatures known to men. They work all through the summer and spring to store food for the long and harsh winters. So, the cricket set off to meet the ant. He asked the ant if he could spare some food for the cricket and provide him with some shelter from the rain. He would only borrow for the time being and repay when he had enough. Although, if there was no food available during winters and summer and spring was spent dancing and singing, one truly does start to wonder whether or not he really would return the food had the ant lent it to him. and he knew if the ant refused, he would die of starvation and sadness. Well, let's see what stanza 3 says.
Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend. But we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by? When the weather was warm, quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away.
When the cricket arrived at the ant's house, the ant told him that there's no doubt that he was the cricket's friend and would love to help him. But just like many of us today, he too was bound by the culture of the ants that clearly states that they don't lend or borrow each for their own. The ant asked the cricket why he did not save enough for the winter during that time of the year when there was no winter. The cricket replied that he was too busy singing through the days and nights. The nature seemed so appealing to him that he would not stop himself. Finally, the ant told the cricket that since he spent the happy times singing and dancing, he must try that in the rough times too. Maybe his happiness will help him survive through the harsh times, or maybe he will indeed die a happy cricket. Now let's see what happens in the fourth stanza.
Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs, and some have 2.
In this last stanza, we see that the ant turned the cricket out from the door. The ant did this because the cricket spent all of his time during spring and summer singing and dancing, instead of saving food and finding shelter for winter. The poet also tells that although this story, like all literary works, can be applied to real life of anyone today and even years from now, in the last line the poet compares the crickets to human beings. He says that just like the cricket who only enjoy during summer, some human beings don't work or plan during happy times. So the theme of the poem, The Ant and the Cricket, is actually a fable that conveys a message. The cricket wasted away all his time singing and dancing during the summer and did not save any food for the winter days. This is a very realistic situation with humans. We tend to enjoy the days when we have enough and forget to save for the future. Due to this, we may face difficult times during unfortunate situations. On the contrary, the ant is shown as a resourceful and hard-working creature. He has saved enough for the cold winters and also built a shelter. It also shows you that no matter who you believe your friends to be, in the matter of survival, you are the only one who will support yourself. Hence, one should be self-sufficient in such a way that you don't need to depend on anyone else. So, the moral conveyed through the poem is that one should not be negligent about the future while enjoy the happy moments in the present. We can take our own examples too. We often wait for the last minute to accomplish our works. We wait for the previous day of the examination to start studying and then we regret for wasting our precious days that we had. We regret that we wasted our time, and if we would have rather not wasted that time, we could have performed a little better. We often make excuses, we blame others, we try to depend on others, we try to always take help of others when we ourselves are capable enough to overcome any situation of ours. So, let us now promise ourselves to start working on our inabilities, stop depending on others for our needs, complete our work before the given time period, and to be a better person with each passing day.